Hey guys, Mr. Marcus here, and as you can see, we're back with the Tottenham Master League. In today's episode, we only have 2 matches for you. Actually, I technically have 3, but one of them I do skip, which is the final group stage match in the Europa League, because of course we're already through into the knockout stages anyway. So, in the first match of this episode, it is against Louis van Gaal's Manchester United. As you can see, Manchester United's team really hasn't changed much from the first season. And my team has drastically changed since I actually took over at Tottenham. Tottenham, when I actually went there, their team was relatively the same as it was when I was playing with Southampton in the first 2 seasons of my Master League series. But I changed it from this thing. So, with that being said, of course, we're playing at White Hart Lane. Well, White Hart Lane with parenthesis around it, because parenthesis is the right word? Is that the right word? Speech marks around it. And basically, we're playing against a relatively difficult side, because Manchester United could be considered relatively quite difficult. After, of course, North London derby was in the last episode. That was a really interesting game as well. But a game against Manchester United, I wasn't really expecting a difficult opposition, to be honest, because, to be honest, they haven't really phased me. I mean, I did have a little bit of trouble with them when I was with Southampton. But in the 7th minute of the match, Eriksen runs past about 4 players, gets a strike-away, and unfortunately, it goes just wide of De Gea's post. And going all the way up into the 22nd minute, John Terry, of all people, runs forward, gets basically another opportunity and actually gets through on goal, gets a strike away, and unfortunately for me, it's John Terry, of all people, who's in front of goal instead of a striker like Benzema, and I missed the opportunity. But in the 28th minute, about 6 minutes later, Benzema on the ball, plays it into El Shaarawy. El Shaarawy takes one touch, gets a strike away, and again, I hit it just wide when I really should be getting more or less on target from that sort of opportunity. But in the 37th minute of the match, down the right hand side, Anan Januzaj crosses it in, and Wayne Rooney pops in the back of the net to give Manchester United an undeserved 1-0 lead. And I was a bit pissed off because, of course, Wayne Rooney was one of those players I was looking at buying when I was actually looking at the likes of Benzema and whatnot. But from kickoff, I just decided to just run for the ball a little bit with Radosevich, give it to Stefan El Shaarawy. El Shaarawy continues to run, eventually runs past Tyler Blackett like he's not even there. Well, he actually runs past quite a lot of people like they're not even there, to be honest. And I end up getting a strike away, and fortunately for me, it hits off, I think, Marouane Fellaini or one of the defenders, and just pings past De Gea on his right hand side, when in reality he probably should save it. But to be honest, the shot was really quite fast and it was going in the top corner. So yeah, but then going up all the way into the 44th minute of the match here, Benzema on the ball. Well, Benzema only gets played for on goal essentially by Luke Shaw, of all people. And Radosevich heads it back down to Karim Benzema. Benzema just runs past Tyler Blackett like he's not there, but runs past Rojo as well, and pings it past David De Gea to give Tottenham Hotspur a 2-1 lead going right into the half-time. So literally on the stroke of half-time, Benzema scored, and I was actually really happy about it. So of course, with a 2-1 lead at half-time, Paulinho playing pretty decent in the midfield as well, which is not really usually said. If you just you might have seen the stats there, we were completely dominating the match. They had 2 shots on target. They'd literally not done much in the game at all. And to be honest, from that point onwards, we just sort of dominated the game over and over again. Eventually, Son came on for Benzema, gets a strike away there. I probably should have scored. I don't know what I was doing. And then in the 84th minute, again, Wayne Rooney tests a Hugo. That wasn't Hugo Lloris in goal. I think it was Skorupski in goal for this particular match, which was quite interesting because Skorupski is not one of my better keepers at all. He's actually rated like 70 odd or whatever it is, and he actually did a pretty decent job in this game. I mean, I know he conceded against Wayne Rooney, but then again, I think everyone would probably score that goal. Well, they concede that goal anyway. But in the 88th minute of the match here, El Shaarawy nearly gets an opportunity. Actually, it was Charlie nearly gets an opportunity. And Eriksen got a pretty decent strike away, didn't really come to anything. And from that, they actually nearly get another opportunity here as Van Persie on the ball plays it into Daniel and Janmaat, who they bought from Chelsea, of all people. And Luke Shaw and Radosevich actually came back, did a pretty decent job of defending, and Luke Shaw eventually clears the ball. A nice little long clearance all the way up to Gaston Ramirez, which comes to nothing. But from that, they head it down to no one, and that was it. So we won the game 2-1 against Manchester United. Pretty decent. Of course, I would show you the table after this, but I decided not to because, of course, the next game is also in the Premier League as well. John Terry got man of the match as well, which is pretty decent for John Terry, considering he's one of my lower rated players. I mean, he's only rated 78, so it's always interesting to see that. And then into the second match of this episode, it is against my former team, Southampton, who now have manager Nigel Pearson, which is actually quite interesting as well. Skorupski did play in this match as well at the back. I brought back in Holberg to play in centre defensive midfield, and again playing more or less my strongest team possible, like Wilson, Terry, Dyer, Luke Shaw, Holberg, Koke, Eriksen, And those sort of players just absolutely amazing. When I looked at it was quite funny that they'd got Fabio Borini up front, with one of the players I actually wanted to buy when I was looking at getting a new striker in, and I ended up paying over the odds for Karim Benzema, which wasn't really that bad because Benzema, of course, is one of those better players as well. So with that being said, we started this game, and of course, being the home team, you always want to win these games as well. But it was just really weird playing against one of my former sides because, of course, I'm not really going to play against Atletico Madrid anytime soon. I mean, of course, if I get in the Champions League, I probably might. But then again, it all depends if they get into the Champions League, considering they lost both Koke and Griezmann in one season, which is a bit ridiculous, to be honest. They sort of went through an Arsenal phase, which is quite funny that they lost like two of their best players in one season, which is quite ridiculous. And, well, former Arsenal phase don't do that anymore, but with that being said, I'm just basically digressing completely. We kicked off this game against Southampton. They're playing in their blue kits, and it was an interesting game because it was just packed. It was just, the midfield was just completely packed right from the start. But literally in the first 2 or 3 minutes of the match, Agasser Ramirez gets an opportunity and he pops it past Fraser Forster with ridiculously good composure to give us a 1-0 lead within literally the first minutes of the match. Now that just contradicts what I just said, but literally this whole match was just so close and tight. And Southampton they played a lot like Barcelona, but then again, I'm sort of to be the person that is to blame for that because I did change I think to play a lot more like attacking wise. But in the 13th minute of the match, Skorupski hadn't do anything to stop Fabio Borini scoring a really nice goal. It's a really nice pass from CM De Jong, and literally nothing I could do in terms of like better defending or anything, and I would just, if I defended better, would have not have conceded. But in the 47th minute of the match, basically Koke gives the ball away really cheaply, and it comes to nothing as just pass the ball about for a bit, and eventually at half time it was 1-1 between the two sides. And the most ridiculous thing is there was literally like 5 shots in the first half, and I would have showed you all of them, but it was just like there was no need. Majority of them got blocked, and it was just not worth it. There were 3 shots in the first half. I overestimated my own shots. As you see there, I mean, there were 2 shots from me, 1 on target, 1 shot on target from Southampton, which was the goal. The game was ridiculously close. It was close in terms of stats as well. Their pass completion percentage was vastly outweighed mine. But with that being said, in the 56th minute of the match, CM De Jong on the ball, gives it to Fabio Borini, and Borini passes it into Joel Campbell, and Campbell, for some ridiculous reason, was a lot better than when I used to play with him, and he tested Skorupski, but it didn't really come to anything. As here we see in the 67th minute of the match here, Benzema getting a strike away, another good save from Fraser Forster. Fraser Forster, one of those keepers who's just ridiculously good in this particular game as well. I've made him good. He's rated like 87 now, I think, or something ridiculous like that. But in the 70th minute of the match, Koke runs past about 4 or 5 players, gets another strike away, again another good save from Fraser Forster. It gets crossed back in by Luke Shaw, comes down to Christian Eriksen. Eriksen can't do anything with the ball, and then they get an opportunity to counter-attack, and it comes to nothing. But in the last minutes of the match, Luke Shaw on the ball, running down his left-hand side again, as he's been doing probably for the whole time he's been at Tottenham. And I gave it into Benzema. Benzema back to Christian Eriksen. Eriksen back to Benzema. And Benzema gets an opportunity, and Benzema finally scores one of those big goals which I need him to score on a regular basis. And he gives us a 2-1 lead in literally the last minutes of the match. And as you can see here, I just went crazy flying in tackles to try and get the match to stop, and the match did come to an end. So we end up winning the game against Southampton 2-1. So in 2 games in this episode, both against 2 very difficult oppositions, both in the same ridiculous scoreline, both a 2-1 win. As you see, match day 15, the sort of majority of what you expect. As we see, they were actually 5 points clear of Southampton and 5 points clear of Chelsea, 7 points clear of Arsenal at the top of the table. So we're sort of doing pretty decent in this so far. As you see here, like I said, a game against Mythologisanti, I end up skipping it. We end up actually getting beat 1-0, but it doesn't really mean anything because, as you can see, when I eventually get to number 10, we still finished top of the table in our Europa League map in our group, so it wasn't too bad. Like Napoli, AZ, Alkmaar, Maccabi, Tel Aviv, Slovan Bratislava. I mean, some big teams got knocked out, like likes of Lyon, likes of Porto, likes of Levante, March Degna, like a lot of teams which are fake name teams. A lot of them got through, and it was a bit ridiculous that a lot of them got through because a lot of them probably shouldn't even be there. But hey, what do you? I mean, I can't really. Well, it's actually 9, not 10. But yeah, so Mythologisanti beat out Ludogorets. Liverpool got through, Olympique Marseille as well as Udinese, and in the final group, Sporting and Rayo Vallecano. So if you have enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel for more, and catch you later.